Universiti Malaysia Kelantan, UMK, is an entrepreneurial university. We implement the government's aspiration to ensure the younger generations are not only highly educated but also entrepreneurial. UMK is the #1 entrepreneurial university in Malaysia and aspires to be one of the world's best by 2030. This is in line with the National Entrepreneurship Policy, which aims to make Malaysia an entrepreneurial country by 2030. According to this vision, UMK ensures the whole university functions within an entrepreneurial ecosystem. This ecosystem comprises of 9 faculties supported by institutes and centers of excellence implemented with the discipline of innovation-based entrepreneurship. The university's upper management, together with UMK employees at all levels, are committed to realizing UMK as a Malaysian public university well respected for its foundation of entrepreneurship. Implementing this ecosystem, the UMK Entrepreneurship Institute UMKEI oversees 3 other entrepreneurship-based centers: the Center for Entrepreneurship Development and Education CEED, the Institute of Small and Medium Enterprises ISME, and the Global Entrepreneurship Research and Innovation Center GERIC. The Faculty of Entrepreneurship and Business, spearheading this structure, has successfully developed collaborative entrepreneurial networks such as UMK Frontier Street, Entrepreneurship Advisory Council, and proudly led the Committee for Ministry of Higher Education Guide to Entrepreneurship Integrated Education. From the academic aspect, UMK offers 29 undergraduate programs and 16 postgraduate programs in the fields of business and management, tourism and hospitality, science and technology, as well as arts and heritage. The university is constantly enhancing its teaching and learning system to ensure that the process of learning takes place creatively and innovatively through My Academic Integrated System, My ICE, massive open online courses, MOOCs, and blended learning. UMK is committed to the development of first-class graduates to become the leaders of industry. Collaboration with world-class local corporate sectors, as well as a network of well-known regional educational institutions, is aimed at empowering UMK from various angles. This is evidenced by the increase in the marketability of graduates and graduates who create jobs through businesses. Research, innovation, and commercialization is another important part of UMK. Research funding and the number of innovations and commercialized products increase every year. UMK has performed well in various prestigious competitions. With the hashtag UMK for Society, UMK is also involved in various community activities. Our staff and students consistently demonstrate outstanding skills and abilities. With such a great spirit of teamwork, UMK has never looked back to emerge as a respected educational entity in the region. We at UMK believe that our presence will give a new look to the development of the Valley of Knowledge. Indeed, our core, entrepreneurship, will always make us, Universiti Malaysia Kelantan, relevant, unique, and different.
Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi, good morning. Yang berbahagia, Prof. Dr. Nik Mahiran binti Muhammad, exercising the functions of the Vice Chancellor Universiti Malaysia Kelantan. Yang berbahagia, Prof. Dr. Razli Cik Razak, exercising the functions of the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation, Universiti Malaysia Kelantan. Yang berbahagia Prof. Dr. Roslina Ahmad Saufi, Dean of Faculty Entrepreneurship and Business, cum Chairman ISEBT 2021. UMK Top Management, the Honorable Dr. Bahidin Alarani, Co-Organizer for ISEBT 2021. Yang berusaha Associate Professor Dr. Nursyed Acik Nawi, Seminar Manager ISEBT 2021. All Directors, Deans and Deputy Deans, members of the ISEBT 2021 Organizing Committee, and participants of ISEBT 2021. Let me begin by giving you a warm welcome to the second day of the 9th International Seminar of Entrepreneurship, Business and Technology ISEBT 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, ISEBT 2021 is the second virtual international conference organized by Faculty of Entrepreneurship and Business, Universiti Malaysia Kelantan. And this conference is co-organized with Euromite Academy of Business and Technology, Turkey. And for your information, the presentation for this 2-day seminar feature both synchronized and asynchronized, which includes 150 paper presentation. The session held in several parallel sessions depends on the field starting yesterday. And please refer to the provided program book for the details. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now proceed to our next agenda, which is keynote session by Yang berbahagia Prof. Dr. Siti Zaitun Muhammad Hashim from Department of Data Science, Universiti Malaysia Kelantan. And for that, I will hand over the floor to Yang berusaha Dr. Fatihah, Senior Lecturer from Faculty of Entrepreneurship and Business, Universiti Malaysia Kelantan, to chair this keynote session. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, Ms. Azwa. Assalamualaikum and good morning. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for third session keynote speaker in 9th International Seminar on Entrepreneurship, Business and Technology ISEBT 2021. Okay, I am Dr. Fatihah binti Muhammad and a moderator session for today. Before we hand over to our keynote speaker, let me introduce third keynote speaker ISEBT 2021, who will soon deliver this session. The third keynote speaker ISEBT 2021 is Yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Siti Zaitun binti Muhammad Hashim. Professor Dr. was born in October 1967. She is a professor in Department of Data Science, Universiti Malaysia Kelantan, UMK. She received her Bachelor Science degree in Computer Science from the University of Hartford, USA, and then continued her study in Master in Science in Computing from the University of Bradford, UK, and PhD in Soft Computing from the University of Sheffield, United Kingdom. Her research interests are soft computing, machine learning, and data analytics. She has supervised and co-supervised more than 20 masters and 20 PhD students. She has authored and co-authored more than 150 publications, includes 80 proceedings and 50 journals, with 19 H-index and more than 1,000 citations. Previously, Professor Dr. used to hold several administrative posts in School of Computing, University Technology Malaysia, UTM, Johor, from 2007 until 2020, including Head of Department, Deputy Dean of Postgraduate Studies, Deputy Dean of Academic, and Director of Big Data Center, Center of Excellence, UTM Johor. Currently, Professor is appointed as Dean of Undergraduates, Academic Management Division Office of Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academy International, Universiti Malaysia Kelantan. Okay, in this session, Professor Dr. Siti Zaitun will share with us technology and digitalization, a driving force in new waves of business, trends and directions. For your information, this session will be conducted within 1 hour. If the participants have the question during the session, please type them at the chat box. Now, without further ado, we will turn over to Professor Dr. Siti Zaitun. Okay, now, Prof, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Fatiha. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, Prof.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
clear.
Thank you for the nice introduction. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. All the honorable guests, um, participants of International Seminar of Entrepreneurship, Business and Technology, ISEBT 2021, all the committee members, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so yesterday we listened to three entrepreneurs with a very inspirational, motivational sharing of their experience. So I think it's a good, start, which I believe that most of the things that I'm going to share today have been mentioned by them because they are the practitioners. They have actually gone through the theory part and they have implemented it. So today we are going to look into the aspect of technology, since the scope is technology, and how actually it has transformed the society knowledge and the process of entrepreneurship itself with the emerging technologies nowadays. Okay, next. Okay, so the title that we put today as a focus of our discussion is how technology and digitalization has been a driving force that shape the new wave of business. And we want to see the trends that take place nowadays and the directions of it. Okay, next. Next. All right. So the among the sharing that we are going to have is first we are going to look at the connection between technology and digital transformation and some theory part of how actually when we talk about intelligent business the creation or the development of this intelligent business, and among all the technologies of course we can name which is very there's no limit to the name of the technology that has come up nowadays, but we just pick a few that we think among the core that give greater impacts to the business and society nowadays. And I will share with you, I would say I call it extreme application of digitalization, whereby of course China always ahead in implementing all sort of technologies. Okay, and finally the conclusion of this. Okay, next. Right. So when we talk about technology, I believe that all these terms are familiar to most of you, to most of us. But for the sake of having a flow of the discussion, we see that this technology as the application of scientific knowledge, for practical purposes. First, it start off with the innovation that has gone through the rigorous process of producing the I would say the engine, the algorithm, and it has been embedded and practiced, of course, in the industry. It will benefit the industry at the end. So all in all, we can say that when we see technology here, we most of the time we will see that it is related to the advancement in computer technology. And how this technology has transformed the business. we see that it is something that is very necessary. We call it necessary disruption. It has disrupted the way things are. It becomes the foundation that somehow shape the changes for the organizations, how they deliver the service, the product to the customer, how they put values, new values to the product or service. Okay, and this disruptive technology, again, of course, we can list them without limitation. It will grow up the list, but we can say that disruptive technology here is innovations that takes place that somehow significantly change or alter the way we the consumers or we the producer, the industries, and also the business operate. Next. Okay, so we can say that digital transformation is about rethinking, rethinking of how the organization utilize, benefit from this technology, and of course the changes will affect the people, related to this organization, be it the customer, I mean the employees. You need to empower the employees with the technology, and of course at the end of the day, the biggest and the most important component is the customer. How do you engage the customer with the technology that you bring in? And of course it will affect the process that takes place in the organization. When we go for optimization, we believe that by applying and embedding this technology, it will actually optimize the process, the operation that takes place in the organization. And at the end of it, of course, it will transform the product, the service, the value. It will put a value that the organization provide to the customer. So this ecology or the cycle is something that we can refer as a system of intelligence, that takes place due to this digital transformation. Okay, next. Okay, so when we talk about creating intelligent business, of course, listening to the three entrepreneurs yesterday, most of them will talk about one thing that I believe that will spark many different changes, and also will justify why the need to be done. That is data, data. That's why sometimes people call data as gold, as oil, as commodity. It is very valuable, and this data can be or is seen as the foundation, foundation of the intelligent business. And the data that we have or we gather must be of high quality, it must be trusted, and it must be utilized the readily available data. So if we look around us or maybe the organization, they know that they are surrounded by data. So how they pick the data that is of the highest quality, that they can trust to give them the real picture of what the situation is, how they should move about, how they should change the process, etc., etc. Okay, so this data integrity, and not just the human, we must have integrity in our day-to-day work. Data also must have integrity, because the data will make sure that the strategy that we put is the best one. So we want to have this data, the very trusted data, high quality data, plus the technology that we have decided to work upon. It actually will do tremendous thing. It will give a very new insight. Why do you see that, for example, the sales very much going higher at certain time, in certain months, in particular location, because this is something that will give some information that you need to dwell, you need to go inside, inside the data, find the relation, okay, and try to do some analysis. And of course the deeper part of the analysis, we call it analytics. We do analytics, and from there we can get a new view, a new insight that will lead the decision makers of the organization to come up with the strategy. Yeah, and of course, this will in turn will allow some personalized output. Yeah, so the customer, of course, we see that when they feel very be welcome for certain product and certain service, they feel like they will want to come back. They want to come back again, yeah, to that service. Yeah, so the personalized aspect is very important. Yeah. So we work from data driven. Okay, so this data can drive so many different strategies, yeah, ideas, innovations to the organization, to make changes, yeah, to go ahead with a new value of service, yeah, that they give to the customers. Okay, next. Okay, so briefly we can say that this data, okay, what concerns about the data is, one is how it is processed. Yeah, so we start from discovering the data. Where do you start off? Yeah, where do you get the data from? Okay, maybe initial step is from the existing catalog or the collection that you have. Start from there. Yeah, study how the relation. Try to discover, some new pattern. Yeah, of the purchase, for example, of the sales. Yeah, and from there you find there are data that maybe not very important to the organization, or maybe you will find some very unknown data, but somehow it is very precious to make you make a different strategy, a different decision. Okay, next, when you have the data, how do you make the data very nicely available to be used, yeah, to be utilized for the analytics? You need to do some cleaning, you need to do some messaging, yeah, you need to normalize the data, and if you have some outliers or abnormalities, you have to get rid of the data because it doesn't show the true picture of your business. Yeah? And the next, how do you integrate this data? Okay, sometimes you have your internal data that you gather. People buy, buy your merchandise and so on. You have the internal one, but you also look at the external data. Okay, for example, you look at the demography, yeah, of the area. You look at the probably the weather, you look at the lifestyle of the people in that community, etc. So you need to identify what is the external data that could have an impact, yeah, on your business. So integrating these two sources of data actually will give you another look, another insight, yeah, of the pattern of the business that you are doing. Okay, next. Okay, next is the storage. When we talk about intelligent business, nowadays, having a proper storage for your data is always a big requirement. And now that we are dealing with big data, very data intensive workloads, which you need a very secure, procedures. And sometimes data also involve some mobility transfer from one location to the other. So all this must be considered. Where do you park your data? Yeah, so now that we have, for example, everything, or not everything, like maybe part of it you park on cloud. You need to decide whether it can go public, it is private. And now we have edge computing solution, because of the data is so heavy, is so intensively used. Maybe you need to decide part of data must be put closer to where the business is taken place. Yeah, so edge computing will allow this to have your business run faster, because you can access the data, the important data, in a faster way. Yeah, and also another thing we need to look at is the processing part. Okay, sometimes if you go for big data but you have only the machine with CPU, maybe it cannot support the processing part because the data is so huge and it takes a lot of storage to run to execute the algorithm and so on. So probably you have to go for GPU. Okay, the clusters of processors. So those are the things that need to be considered about the storage requirement. Okay, next. Okay, thank you. So this third element that is said important in creating an intelligent business is the data itself must be clean, clear, and easily accessible. Okay, because once you have the data, which is we would say that the truth, the clean data, we we want to go for the analytics that help us to make a good decision. Yeah, and in order to do that, sometimes when you want to do the analysis, you start off with something that is already there. Yeah, you find maybe the existing use cases, examples that somehow similar to yours. You can actually use that to start off. Yeah, and then of course you improve and you modify, you enhance accordingly to customize with your problem. So having the insight is referred to applying some models or algorithms that suit with your problem or your business. Uh, so for example, you see how why sometimes your sale is very good at some places at some moment, etc. So you want to find the inside of it. Yeah, so once you have the model that represent the nature of the or the pattern of the business, then you might see there are things that you need to consider when you strategize for the next action. Yeah, and also of course the action must be followed from this insight, and of course it will change. Just now we mentioned that change the people, the process, the tool or the technology that relevance to your business. Okay, next. Okay, so we can say that this technology somehow and also the digital transformation can improve the productivity. For example, one technology that is said nowadays that is mentioned by everyone is AI. Yeah, even little children they can say AI because it has been mentioned so much on TV by people in the news. By the teachers and so on. So AI can change a lot of things. So, for example, using the AI, you can use all the intelligent components that makes the business as if it is run by, for example, thousand staff, thousand employees, but yet it is only few people that take care of the business, but they smartly utilize all the data, all the actions, that will actually satisfy the customer. It will respond to the customer immediately, for example. Okay, so it is about not just about the disruption or the technology that is embedded into the business, but it's about the value, the people, the optimization, the capability that it can be utilized, that can be adapted through this intelligent element. Okay, next. Okay, so we can say that this technology and digitalization is actually, I would say, the best thing that happened nowadays, that becomes the central driving force. And everyone is actually coming into that, like it or not. We have to be on the track, on the track to be relevant. And of course, talking about business, the demand given by the customer is somehow drive the organization to change. And in this particular sharing, of course we can name all the technologies available emerge nowadays, but I just pick 8 of them because I believe that of course the expansion will happen, but somehow with this 8, it it gives us a new view of how it has give some impacts to the way business are nowadays. Okay, next. Okay, to start with, the first technology I think that really takes place now is having digital employees. So we name it as digital assistant. So digital assistant is actually a program, a software that is written to help the organization or the business to perform some routines process, but of course based on some rules that have been programmed, and it allow um, the organization to communicate with the customers anytime, anywhere, by writing or by speech. Meaning that by text, by texting, sometimes we can just type what we want to know about something through the apps of the organization, and it will give us the answer. Or sometimes we have the oral or the verbal request that we can make. And this kind of representation, digital assistants, also there are many. Among them are, we call it as robotic process automation, RPA, chatbots, and voice assistants. So these are the new digital colleagues that actually many organizations have embedded in their day-to-day routine, what do you call that, procedure. Okay, next. Okay, for example, the chatbot, it is a program, written that simulate, the chatting that takes place between human and the machine, and the system. So, this the ability of able to respond immediately is actually something that is dearly needed by the customer. And this skill is actually necessary because it can help the customer to stay on with your organization, and because they have so many questions they want to ask. Hi there, I'm looking for a solar phone charger, for example. Then they will get the response. Okay, we sell this and this and so on. Then there's another question comes in. So all can be through the chat. So it works like a 24/7. Yeah, it is ready 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they can actually ask in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., asking about your products, serviced by your company. Okay, next. All right. So we have seen many in our day-to-day life. For example, the banking. For example, this is CIMB. They have EVA. Normally, the bots, the chat bots, they are given a name, because they're assistants. So this EVA from CIB. If I ask them what is the current state of my transaction, so they will personalize. It will go to the database, get the information of me, and it says that, oh, my credit card is overpaid. I'm a good customer. Okay, and then I want to know what is my spending. And then I pick the option. Then it will give me, 100% for September I spend on purchasing from Shopee, for example. So it gives you the pattern. It gives the customer, very warm welcome. So this is the best part of digital assistant. Okay, next. All right, of course, Google is always ahead. So Google Assistant is the one where they use a voice activated. So you can have your Google Assistant on your smart handphone. You can ask them, and any for example, I want to know where is my location. Then I got the feedback in Jalan Melu Ketere, Kampung Padang Raja. Okay, so this Google Assistant can trigger apps, device. You can ask questions. It can give you, some suggestions which you think quite smart enough to help you plan your day, your tasks, etc. Okay, next. All right. Another thing about Google Assistant is about 2 years ago, or two year plus, they introduced this what they call as Google Duplex. It's supposed to help the company or the restaurant to allow this reservation service to the customer. So when the customer call, they will be answered by this Google Assistant duplex. Okay, we have a video, I believe. Can we listen to the video?
Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd.
Let's say you want to ask Google to make you a haircut appointment on Tuesday between 10 and noon. What happens is the Google Assistant makes the call seamlessly in the background for you. So what you're going to hear is the Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the appointment for you. Let's listen.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have a 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
Okay, that's the end of it. All right, thank you, Secretariat. Okay, so you see now how the voice activated is be part of us, and sometimes maybe the customer does not realize that he or she is talking to the machine. Yeah, so it is quite a wonderful thing. But they say that it has not been launched officially. Some part of the state they have this issue of humans' right. Yeah, because it's like the customer believe that they are talking to the human, but actually it's not. So it becomes an issue there of human rights. So they are resolving that. But somehow, in some cases, it has already taken place. Okay, next. Okay, talking about this digital assistant, RPA, the robotic process automation, is also a program, a bot that is developed to automate we call it repetitious process, because the customer will ask the same thing, the answer will be the same answer, So this can be programmed so that it saves a lot for the employees, to be replaced by this machine or by this automation, for example, by this program, and probably the employee can do something else, the job of more complex procedure. So this use of automation will help to streamline the process, and of course it will improve productivity. It's like you just have it on 24 hours and you can do something else. Okay, and it is believed that this use of automation will increase by years. And you see there, for example, it's not that the employee believe that their job have been taken by robots. No, it's just that the robot will do very repetitive job. And the human is supposed to do a better job, something that need a thinking. A very more complex job. So that's the what do you call that? The inspiration of it. Okay, next. Okay, so a brief introduction to this RPA. So the robotic, because it is like a machine that is doing the job for you, and it's mimicking the human action. Next. Okay, then what is the process that is being programmed in this automation? It is a sequence of steps. That's why before you design your assistant, your digital assistant, you must be clear of the steps, of the information involved. So you need to properly give the meaningful activities that can be programmed so that it is nicely matched with the question given by the customer and the answer given by the machine. Okay, and next. Okay, so this automation will actually happen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without intervention of human. You just have it on, and it can entertain your customers. It can, have your customers feel very welcome, and of course they will come back the next day and so on. Okay, next. Just to give you some example of what are the tools that can be used to develop this RPA. So I just name a few I got from this Google: UiPath, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere. Okay, next. Okay, next. So I just pick one example of how this automation can be developed. Okay, next. Okay, assuming that you are actually selling iPhone, for example, communication shop. So you want to have one automation that supposed to help you to get, for example, all the price of iPhones from the website, without you having to search one by one, or without you having to get from somewhere else. So you can actually program this, and you put your intention. Okay, next. Can you press? Okay. All right. So let's say you want to find information about iPhone. So you can just go to your email and then type the subject title as iPhone. Okay, and then in the tool, which is the UiPath just now that I mentioned, you can just customize a bit where you want to get it from. For example, IMAP from email, through email. Okay, next. Okay, then when you send the email, it will actually crawl the website looking for all the available iPhones with prices. Yeah. Then next. Okay, so it will search, it will crawl and search until no more is found. Then it will stop. Okay, next. Okay, next. Sorry, before one step before. Okay, so once you search, when you press enter, you get the email. You get the email reply, and from the email, you will see one Excel file that contains all the information. I believe there's another slide. Okay, can we go next? One slide. Oh, it's not there. It's okay. Once you open your email, you will receive one file, Excel file. So when you open that file, you have thousands of iPhone models and prices. Yeah, so it is automatically done for you with some adjustment or the tool that you choose to use in order to help you grab, or we call it scrap, the information from the internet without you having to go through one by one. Yeah. Okay. So that is about the digital assistant, technology. We say digital employees. Okay, next is the technology that have a great impact on the business and society is the IoT, Internet of Things. So everyone is so familiar with this. Of course, when we talk about IoT, it is something that will give identity to the device, and it will allow the communication to take place between the device and also the system, that somehow the organization can extract this data and do some analysis. Okay, so the source of the data coming from this IoT. Okay, so IoT is a core technology for many things. For example, the smart homes, and of course the key term that everyone is so familiar with is IR 4.0. Okay, and also Industry 4.0. Okay, next. Okay, so this IoT actually is a big opportunity, that will actually improve and digitalize all the processes, and it will self-regulate the process, and it allows us, or for example the organization, to monitor in a broader sense, and how they can actually benefit from this data gathered from IoT. And with the analysis or analytics that they do, it helps us to make a more or better decision, what next to be done. And in fact, this IoT is available everywhere, even when you have your wearable watch, the sport wearable watch, for example. It has the component of IoT there, and then it can transmit the information to your computer, for example. It can give you a pattern of your day-to-day what do you call that, exercise and so on and so forth. So those can be gathered from this IoT that has been embedded in this wearable watch. Okay, next. Okay, so we see in the fourth revolution, it is about autonomous, autonomous decision making. So all the decision making is based or is done based on this automated process. And of course, using AI, machine learning is under AI. The intelligent process of helping us to make a quick decision, a better decision. And the cloud technology is another aspect that allows this to happen. All the data is gathered in cloud, and we extract the one that is very important to us. Okay, so this IoT is the core technology of this fourth revolution. Okay, next. All right, so you can see all these technologies. As I mentioned, you can name, without limit. So as we share in this talk, we just pick a few that we think that becomes the core, the foundation of today's technology. Okay, next. Okay, next. All right, one example of IoT application. So we have this vehicle equipped with this IoT, and also the handphone that we have also can have the IoT. So this allows the communication to take place. So for this, for example, transportation, having this IoT will allow the unmanned vehicle, for example, no driver, and it allow automatic car parking, maneuver, without you having to control. You just set everything that you want to have to be run, conducted by the car, and you just sit there and everything can be done there. And also the communication that can take place, it can be gathered by the organization, by the company that really have the interest of the related data. Okay, next. Okay, this is another example from a company, Favariat, the expert in IoT. So how the decision can be made from this data collected from the IoT based device. So if you look at the bottom hierarchy, so the data is gathered, and then all kind of information will be collected. So from there, we need to find out what is the knowledge that can help us to make a decision. For example, when we talk about the waste management, the smart waste management, something must be triggered, so that the decision will take place. For example, this garbage has the IoT embedded, and then once it is full, for example, it will trigger the information, and then the controller will make a decision that the garbage lorry must come and pick up the garbage. So it is something that very much triggered by the event, not by the schedule, like every 3 days they come to pick up, every 5 days they come to pick up. So it is not very optimal. So this is what that must be done if we go for the new technology that will improve the society. Okay, next. Okay, next. I think we are running out of time, so we just go quick. Okay, so AI is always the also the core of everything. So we know that it is a program. Remember, it's a program. It's not that it's intelligent from the human, but the human's intelligence can be actually customized and embedded in the system, in the program, so that it can do tremendous thing for the human. Okay, next. Okay, so AI is actually the future of every industry. Yeah, and I believe that it will continue to act as technological innovator in the future, because we want to make a smart decision, a quick decision. Yeah, and all the big data is available around us. Okay, next. Okay, talking about big data, it has dominated actually, almost all the application nowadays, because we have so many data come in a bigger amount, in a faster speed, yeah, in a very unstructured form that need to be figured out, and all this big data can actually be manipulated and help the organization to make a good decision, a better decision. Yeah, we call it informed decision. Okay, next. All right, this shows that how the data is actually, running every day, and the organization can pick up so much data around them, that requires a bigger storage, yeah? And that goes where the big data must be handled by the right machine, the right algorithm. Okay, next. Okay, it's okay, next. All right, so we're talking about data. So actually, we have the past data that give us the information, the knowledge, of what is going on. That is where the business intelligence comes in, and then from there we do more analysis and we do analytics so that the future decision can be well informed. Okay, so meaning that the past experience will give us the knowledge, the learning that help the decision of the future better and more accurate. Okay, that's about the data analytics and actually data science. Okay, next. All right, so data analytics is actually unlocking the value of data. All right, so okay, next. Okay, this example of how the data is analyzed, the analytics is done, and we view that in the form of dashboard so that it gives us so many information. For example, this is about health analytics from this private hospital. So they want to see, for example, most of the patients that come to the hospitals are from which area, from which part, and how. Which doctor is actually attracting the patients, what kind of disease that most of the people from this area will come and see the doctor. So all this analysis they will consider in order to make a better decision in improving the service, allocating different doctors in different branches and so on. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, next. It's all about data analytics. Again, about data analytics, where it helps us to make a prediction. We call it predictive analytics. But again, it is from the data that we gathered that give us the information. Okay, next. Right, next. Okay, next. It's a long list, sharing on the AI and data analytics. Okay, it's okay, next. Okay, so having this prediction that is actually somehow helped by the analytics done. So when in one organization, for example, they have some questions and triggered. If let's say they recruit some new staff, they want to have some kind of preliminary answers. So out of these candidates, for example, which one will be the best for my company? Which one will be a better performer? Which one you will see that will quit in the next 6 months? So all those questions are in future, but somehow it can be analyzed from the background of the person, the individuals. But of course, we have to have data, okay, that need to be analyzed to get this kind of insight. Okay, next. Okay, next is about virtual reality and augmented reality. Another technology that is, widely attracted to so many people. Okay, next. Just show example. This how it actually will dominate many different applications, education, medical, and okay, next. Okay, so VR is about how we make the vision as if it is live. For example, it is used in the tourism, where when we use this virtual reality, for example, it makes the user feel like it is very much alive. Okay, so the situation is being virtualized. Okay, next. Okay, AR also help the customer to feel very much, into the business or the process that take place. For example, you are selling houses, the house property. You can apply this AR to make the customer feel like they can make a tour in the house and so on. Okay, next. Okay, maybe we have to go faster because the time is running out. Okay, next. All right, so it is about augmented reality. It has affected many businesses. Okay, next. Okay, so it's very nice to see that how, for example, you buy from IKEA, you can have, your room, and you can see from the augmented reality view how the new furniture that you want to buy from IKEA, for example, nicely fit in your room, in your environment. So you can have some feeling whether this is the right choice that I want to make when I buy this. Okay, next. Okay, blockchain is also one technology that is widely applied now. Okay, next. I just want to say briefly here. Next slide, please. Okay, it is about the concept behind it is how the encryption is done to make sure that the security of the data is there. Yeah, it is called hashing algorithm. Next. Okay, so all this information will be saved in a database, and this database is in the form of, they call it block. It has the address and so on. So the sequence of block is changed together, and once one of the block is changed, it will be triggered by other blocks because it does not recognize the sequence has been somehow tampered with. Okay, so that is why it is believed that that's why this blockchain technology is much secure, than the conventional one. Okay, next. Okay, next. All right, so we have the 3D printing. Again, this is another technology that is called additive because it will give somehow a very I would say very innovative experience. So the user can actually have the design in the software, and then once it is already done and satisfied, then it can be printed in a 3D. Okay, next. And it can be used in many applications. Probably maybe to create STEM, to create what do you call it, interest of students to to go for engineering and science courses. And here we have, for example, the 3D for printing chocolate. Okay, next. Okay, and many more here. It can be used in education, in industry of automobile and so on. Okay, next. Okay, the drones also is another technology that is widely used, and now they have the drone that can deliver things to the customer Okay, I think we can go to the last one. I want to show the on slide number 62, please, Secretariat. Yeah, this social credit system. Okay, can we play just maybe to end this discussion and presentation?
China is creating a social credit system. It's a plan to regulate business and citizen behavior with various incentive schemes. China's State Council unveiled the plan in 2014, saying it would allow the trustworthy to roam everywhere under heaven, while making it hard for the discredited to take a single step. China's leaders say the system has several main targets: honesty in government affairs, integrity in commerce and wider society, and boosting judicial credibility. About 3 dozen cities around China are testing their own versions of social credit schemes. Currently, the backbone of the system is a set of blacklists. Serious offenders of existing laws are identified by regulatory and oversight bodies. Social credit scores, used in some pilot cities, award or remove points based on behavior. Social credit data can come from court judgments, government agency records, citizen observers who monitor neighbors, or from corporate records. In at least one pilot city, social credit scores can be damaged by defaulting on loan or tax payments. Selling faulty products or breaking traffic laws can also cost points. In those communities, good social credit makes it easier to get bank loans at lower rates. Other perks include free health checks or discounts on heating and free water. Bad social credit may limit access to tickets for high-speed trains or air travel. A Supreme Court blacklist is already in use, limiting travel for people who fail to comply with rulings. By late 2018, the list had stopped sales of 5.4 million high-speed train tickets and about 17 million airline tickets. China's social credit system is due to go nationwide by the year 2020.
Okay. Thank you, Secretary. So this application of China's social credit system is really, I would say, the complete the implementation of the technologies that we have. Whether it is good or not, whether it is against the human's right, that's a different aspect. But to show that how the AI, the facial recognition, the big data has really been utilized, and they have actually finally managed to give a score to every citizen in the city, whether they are meant to be good or bad person. Okay, so I think okay, next, the last slide. In conclusion, okay, we go to the last slide. So in conclusion, we can say that even though we just mentioned a few technologies, but actually the landscape, one slide before, please. Okay, so we can say the landscape of this technology is keep evolving, keep changing, and the entrepreneurs need to foresee which technology actually will drive the greatest digital disruption and economic change over the next decade. So with that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wow, it's quite interesting. Okay, Prof, to have digital assistant. Then I think I want a wife assistant while I am shopping.
Yeah. Very good, Fatia.
Okay, I think the time is running out. So, on behalf of the ISEP 2021, we would like to say thank you very much, Prof. Professor Dr. Siti Zaitun Muhammad Hashim, for all sharing knowledge and her experience on technology and digitalization. We believe our government and institution now are really hardworking to prepare our next generation to be a good worker. Okay. So before we end the session, for all audience, don't forget to fill in the attendance link at the chat box. Okay, thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Assalamualaikum, and see you again. Next session, we will continue with Miss Nurul Azwa. Okay, bye.
Sila estimation. Terima kasih, Prof.
Tak ada soalan kan?
Tak ada. Thank you, Dr. Fatiha and Yang Berbahagia, Prof. Dr. Zaitun, for the great sharing session just now. Ladies and gentlemen, this ceremony has now come to an end. On behalf of the committee, I would like to extend my utmost appreciation to our guests of honor. I would also like to take this opportunity to extend my appreciations to individuals who have been involved in making this virtual conference a success. Most importantly, on behalf of Universiti Malaysia Kelantan, I would like to wish the participants of ISEBT 2021 a meaningful and productive day ahead. I would also like to remind all the participants that we will have a prize-giving ceremony. Hence, I would like to invite again all the participants to be at the closing and award ceremony at 11:30 a.m. by today. And for all our second day presenters, our parallel presentation session will start at 10 a.m. With that, I end our today's ceremony this morning with Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Biru jingga dan merah warnanya, semangat sumpah setia, inovatif, integriti, ilmu diterokai, warisan budaya sumber asli, keusahawanan teras kami, kekayaan akal dan budi, mendidik insan yang sejati. Perubahan terkini demimu yang maha pencipta, merealisasi visi menjadi realiti demi negara yang tercinta. Relevan, unik dan berbeza, bencana peradaban bangsa, janji kami pada